Very good afternoon to all. So my topic is primary evaluation of common cancers. So if you see what are the common cancers which we are seeing in our daily OPD is head and neck cancers, breast cancers, lung cancers, and GI cancers. They are the most common cancers. They form the bulk of the disease, and we are also seeing many hematological cancers, gynecological cancers, and genitourinary cancers. So to discuss all these cancers in 12 minutes is not possible. I will take head and neck, breast, lung, and if possible, GI cancers. So head and neck cancers, what head and neck cancer constitutes? As you can see, the oral cavity, tongue, and pharyngeal cancers, which consist of oropharynx, hypopharynx, and nasopharynx, they constitute the bulk of the head and neck cancers. And nasal cavity, paranasal sinuses, and salivary gland cancers, they are rare cancers. So, what are the early signs symptoms of head and neck cancers? Mouth ulcer is the first symptom of a blood of head and neck cancer. Any mouth ulcer which is persisting for long duration and which is causing pain should be evaluated. Then we can have lump in the neck because of the neck nodes, jaw or mouth, lump in jaw or mouth, and which should be progressively increasing. Difficult swallowing due to pain or obstruction, pain because of the ulcer, then pain because of the restricted tongue movements, and obstruction because of the this obviously less movement of the tongue, and because of the posterior pharyngeal growths. Then foul smelling discharge and excessive salivation, sore throat which is chronic, pain in neck maybe because of the referred pain or because of the nodes, difficulty moving the jaw, speech problems, either because of the tongue involvement, base of tongue is involved, you cannot move the tongue, or because of the laryngeal cancers which are causing obstruction and pressure over the esophagus. Then there may be referred pain in the ear and recurrent dental issues like loose tooth and ill-fitting dentures, and weight loss because of the pain, not able to eat, so the weight loss may be there. So these are the signs and symptoms in which you have to evaluate for head and neck cancers, and that include physical examination of the oral cavity and neck. There may be ulcers, there may be neck nodes which are generally hard to palpate, fixed many of the times. And we use Hopkins examination. That is, Hopkins scope is a rigid scope, and you can see detail inside the oral cavity. Biopsy is required if there is any suspicion of lesion, and then imaging, CT scan, and MRI is required. So CT scan is sufficient for most of the head and neck cancers, and MRI is required for the evaluation of the tongue cancers and base of skull involvement. So we have Dr. Darshan sir with us. So I want to, sir, please your comment on which ulcer should be biopsied and which is the most common neglected features, which is the reason for late presentation to us in the OPD. Two things, sir.
So we come to biopsy first. Any known ulcer which is not healing in 3 weeks, 21 days, is biopsy and evaluation for malignancy. That is the most important thing because it has been seen from the first symptom to the diagnosis, the average duration in Indian patients is around 2.5 months. The study done by many centers that a patient coming with the first symptom and reaching up to the diagnosis, there is a duration of 2.5 months. So during this 2.5 months, many times the stage advances. So as a clinician, if you find any patient who is having mouth ulcer, especially when they are having habits of tobacco and smoking, then advice for a biopsy if it is more than or equal to 3 weeks.
Okay, sir. So, picking up any cancer in an early stage is very important because it increases your chances of cure. So, as sir said, any ulcer, mouth ulcer not healing for more than 3 weeks should be referred to oncosurgeon for biopsy and examination. So, next topic is lung cancer. So, most lung cancer do not cause any symptom in the early stage, but if these are the symptoms patient having, then you should evaluate for lung cancers. And what are the most common symptoms of lung cancer? A cough that does not go away or get worse. Any cough which is lasting for more than 3 to 4 weeks should be evaluated. Coughing up blood and rust-colored sputum, obvious. Chest pain, which is often worse with deep breathing, coughing, or laughing. Then hoarseness of voice because of the nodal mass, which is causing pressure of the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Loss of appetite, unexplained weight loss, shortness of breath, feeling tired or weak, recurrent infections such as bronchitis and pneumonia because of the bronchial obstruction, and sign symptoms of metastatic disease which present late with headache, bone pains, and liver metastasis. So what has to be done if you are suspecting lung cancer? So first chest X-ray is not at all sufficient, because in chest X-ray when the lesion will be visible, it will be too late. So if we are suspecting lung cancer, we have to go for CT scan thorax. Second things comes the biopsy, which should be a CT guided biopsy or a bronchoscopic guided biopsy according to the location of the lesion. Centrally located lesions we approach by bronchoscopic guided biopsy, and in sometimes adenocarcinoma when there is diffuse lung involvement, then we do a bronchoscopic guided biopsy. And if the patient is having too much emphysema, then because of the risk of pneumothorax, we prefer bronchoscopic guided biopsy. Otherwise, CT guided biopsy is done. And in today's era, I think AKT should not be started without bronchoscopy and histopathological examination if possible. So we have Dr. Rashmi with us. Madam, in cough, how much should we wait before asking for a CT scan thorax?
Generally, we give primary treatment and then we do the chest X-ray normally after a week initially. But 2 to 3 weeks, I guess, is a good time to evaluate for the further evaluation. But these days, the CT scan is very much as in COVID also, there is a curve which is not visible, the changes are not visible on X-ray, and CT scan we can find the changes. But yeah, to rule out this malignancy and otherwise normal individual, or there is no fever or no other signs, and if there is a weight loss and other symptoms suggestive of malignancy, we evaluate for we go for CT scan within 2 weeks, after 2 weeks.
Okay, so perfect. We should not wait for more than 3 weeks in empirically treating a cough. If it's lasting for more than 3 weeks, we should get a CT scan thorax. And a normal chest X-ray will not rule out malignancy in early stage. Next is breast cancer. So what are the early sign symptoms of breast cancer? So most common sign is a breast lump, swelling of all or part of a breast because of the lymphedema or because of the large mass. Then skin dimpling. We all know what is pudgy orange. It's like a orange peel feeling because of the lymphatics involvement in the breast. Then breast or nipple pain. Generally, breast pain is not a common feature of malignant breast lumps, but because of some type of pressure or edema, they causes pain, rather it causes constant discomfort. Then nipple retraction, nipple or breast skin that is red, dry, flaking or thickened, any nipple discharge other than breast milk, and swollen lymph nodes in the axilla or supraclavicular neck region, and of course signs of metastatic diseases. So how to investigate breast lump? Obviously, first thing is the physical examination. Any palpable node which is hard or fixed node with axillary lymph nodes or supraclavicular nodes should be evaluated. And first thing evaluation is radiological evaluation in form of mammosonogram. And we get a category, and according to Virat's category, we decide whether we have to go for biopsy or not. And generally, by say Virat's 1 and 2 are negative, and Virat's 3 they may be doubtful. We have to decide clinically, and any 4 or 5 Virat's category, they have to be biopsy. After biopsy, we have to do ERP or HER2 receptor status, and if the breast lump is initially a small breast lump, skin is not involved, there are no fixed nodes, then it is an early breast cancer. Most of the times we can go for direct surgery, and we need only USG and X-ray. But if it is advanced disease, like it's a skin involvement is there, breast lump is fixed, then nodes are fixed, then we have to rule out metastatic disease before attempting surgery, and we have to go for CT scan and PET scan before final going for the treatment. So how to proceed? Final depends on the stage. What is the stage of the disease? Whether the patient wants to go for BCS or mastectomy, and what is the ERP or HER2 status. So we cannot discuss whole management of breast cancer, but yes, all these things are required before, because many of times there is indication of neoadjuvant chemotherapy before surgery, and many of times surgery can be performed directly. So we have to evaluate all these things. And many of them, what happens, like in periphery or outside, they first do a lumpectomy, and then after refer patient to us, then the patient needs double surgery, so the cost is increased. Whenever there is a doubt, you have to directly send to oncosurgeon, because that time after biopsy, surgery can be done in single setting, because otherwise 2 surgeries the cost is increased. So Chirag sir is there on Zoom?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. Sir, you want to add anything on, sir, early signs and symptoms of breast cancer and things which we should not be missed?
No, I think whatever you said is correct. But I would say that nowadays the threshold of giving neoadjuvant chemotherapy is lowering. And particularly if the patient is having ER, PR as well as HER2, all negative, and that's what we call triple negative. In that case, any tumor more than 2 centimeter, we want to give neoadjuvant chemotherapy. That is first thing. And second thing is that if it is HER2 positive, then also we want to give chemotherapy early as compared to late, along with anti-HER2 therapy. So this is what I wanted to add. Okay. So sir said, like, there are two types of breast cancer. You can say one is chemosensitive, one is relatively chemo-resistant. So chemosensitive are triple negative breast cancers and HER2 positive breast cancers. So day by day we are shifting towards neoadjuvant chemotherapy in these two types of cancers. And after neoadjuvant, the surgery is performed, and according to response, we can alter our adjuvant chemotherapy. And if HER2 is negative, and if it is strong ERPR positive, then if the tumor is operable upfront, then most of the times we go for surgery. So with time we are shifting to therapy and changing our treatment. So these all things are needed before a final planning. So quickly I will take esophagus and gastric cancers. So early signs and symptoms of esophagus and gastric cancers are anorexia, early satiety, nausea, vomiting, progressively increasing dysphagia. So progressively increasing dysphagia is a cause for early esophageal cancers, and early satiety is most of the times in early gastric cancers. Acidity, weight loss, epigastric pain, swelling, anemia, and neck nodes and cupping may be in later on stages. And the investigation of choice will always be upper GI scopy. And imaging you want to do, then you have to do a CT scan abdomen. So sonography will not pick up esophagus and stomach cancers in early stage. Colorectal cancer, same thing. The different things will come, like a persistent change in bowel habits, including diarrhea or constipation, or a change in consistency of stool, rectal bleeding or blood in stool, black colored stool, persistent abdominal discomfort such as cramps, gas, or pain, and a feeling that bowel doesn't completely empty, anemia, weakness, and unexplained weight loss. And the investigation of choice will be a colonoscopy and a sigmoidoscopy. So we all know the early sign symptoms of these two, like local symptoms, be there. One important thing I want to highlight is whenever any patient above 40 years of age presents with iron deficiency anemia and he's from a good family, we should evaluate for GI, because iron deficiency anemia in a above 40 years of age can be a cause of early malignancy, rectal cancers. We have picked many patients. Generally, we pick around 4 or 5 patients per year who presents with iron deficiency anemia, and we do a scopy, and turns out to be an early rectal cancer or early colonic cancer. It can make a huge difference in the treatment because it will cure the patient. If you treat any colonic or rectal malignancy in early stages, patient will be cured most of the times. So this thing we have to keep in mind. Anemia, iron deficiency anemia above 40 years of age, you have to do a scopy. Thank you. Stay safe.